Hello, if you don't know me, I'm Jenna with Later But Louder, and I've been sharing my journey through midlife, my midlife crisis, which was actually the biggest midlife crisis yet because, see, I had already thought that I had gone through my midlife crisis and dealt with it and done all these things. And so I've been sharing my story into kind of when I was at my lowest moment of midlife crisery, whatever you call it. Um, just because, and I make light of it, but I have just decided to start recording where I'm at because I know there's got to be other women that are feeling this way too. And so if you've missed my other previous videos, I'll link to them below where I share the previous parts. Because today I'm kind of going to go into the previous parts talked about where I was at and where the struggle was. And yeah, I'm just going to pick up where I left off. I had gone to visit my younger daughter who lived several hours away. Excuse me. And I was getting offers to buy my house and I didn't know where I would go. During my visit to my daughters, I got a surprise. Rather than remain in the house they had been renting, she and her husband were in the market to buy. I spent the next couple of days walking through potential houses with them. I remember thinking once again, everyone gets to move on with life but me. And I think that's where we left off on the last video. I was asking if you've ever felt this way, you've ever felt stuck like where I was, because this was a breaking moment for me. And I I just want you to see through this series of videos that I've recorded this is chapter one of my manuscript that I'm writing, that there is hope, that it doesn't have to be, you don't have to stay in this place that we're at here. And I understand if you're watching this and you're not to the point that I'm going to talk about next. However, I do want you to realize that there is hope. And by telling my story, see that as I've said in the other videos, relate to where you're at and how much of a struggle it was. I mean, I was really lost at this time in life and just kind of like, where do I fit in? Where is my place? Where do I go from here? All that stuff. So the point I want you to see is that even though I was stuck in this place, I want you to remember that I did eventually get out. And that's what I'm going to kind of go into next. And that it was one big thing that pushed me over the edge. In your case, that may be different. It may be a lot of little things that cause change in your life where you just get fed up enough to say, I'm not going to take this anymore. But I also, even though it was a big thing, there were also many little things, as you saw in the previous videos, that led up to it. So I will move on here. That trip, looking at houses with my daughter and her family, was the final nail in the coffin for me. Things had been building up for years, and now I'd finally had it. I was no longer going to sit idly by and let life happen to me. While I was still at the airport, I called one of those ugly houses places and arranged for them to come look at the house and give me an estimate. The ugly house guy came and made an offer right on the spot, which I accepted as he coaxed me into the vision that this was an opportunity to start over and to create a new life for myself. I would have enough to pay off my mortgage in full and move ahead. It was a high pressure sale, to be sure, but I let myself be pressured. Nothing sounded more appealing to me than the opportunity to start fresh elsewhere. Before I knew it, I'd signed my house away. I had to be out in 30 days with no plan of where I would go. And so this is something that I really want to highlight as a truth, is that sometimes we take big steps to move forward. When we move forward, it's hard, it's scary, we do it. And then we're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? What did I do? And then it comes together and we're like glad we did it. But then the thing we feared happens. The next thing, the next shoe drops, the next thing falls that we have to put into place. And so it is kind of like a process. Um, so I had already talked about it to the daughter I had just visited. None of my children felt an attachment to the house that might make them or me regret my decision to leave. In fact, ever since they had left it behind, they had been encouraging me to do the same. I spoke with my daughter and her family. Now, this is my other daughter. So I had gone to visit my younger daughter, and now I was talking to my older daughter and her family. For quite some time, we had half joked about the notion of buying a duplex where I could live next door to them. We began to wonder, could we make that prospect a reality? And so I was once again looking at houses, this time with my other daughter and her family. Unlike before, when it was from a bystander perspective, this was for my own future. It was more than envisioning possibilities for myself. I'd sold my house. They wanted me out of it, in fact. I needed to find somewhere to go. If not a new house, I would have to move into an apartment. The act of contacting that place forced me into action. Now, I don't know if you've ever sold your house to one of those ugly houses, people, but what happens is they come look at your house, they appraise it, they tell you, like, here's how much you could get for it. And then they make you an offer on the spot. And so it's like, take it or leave it. Now, so you think, why would somebody do that instead of a realtor? Well, doing it that way, you don't have to do repairs, you don't have to get it ready, you don't have to show it to people and go through all that stuff. And at the time I did it, it just seemed like a really good way to just quick move on. And in a lot of ways, I mean, it was quick. I'll put it that way. It was quick. Because like I said, it was instantaneous and they were basically like, we'll write the check and you tell us how quickly you can leave. And so once I did that, it set this chain of action into motion. And basically what it did was make me have to take action. And I guess that is the thing that had been missing for all this buildup, all this time before, was that I wanted change, but I didn't know how to make change happen. And at least in my case, things had to get unpleasant enough for me to really push me into action and do something that would would force change on me. And you might be in the same boat where things are like really unhappy for you, really like you don't know how the next phase of life looks. And you just need some big action. I'm not saying go sell your house to the ugly house people, but you look at it this way, like if you don't have a push like this happen for you, will you take action? I don't know. I don't know that I would have if I hadn't had the pressure of here's your money, you need to be out quick. And I mean, it was, I don't remember how long, like within a week. Well, no, within a month. I think it was they wanted me out within a month. And I was explaining that I didn't have anywhere to go. So they said they could extend it as far as that, but they didn't want to do it any further than that. So it forced me into action. More than that, in hindsight, it seemed like the deciding action that would be my determining fate. Once I knew what I wanted, I fought like hell to make it happen. Although a good duplex in our preferred location was not available, we did find the perfect house for us all, with a layout that separated my living area from theirs. It's the perfect living situation for all of us. And it's not just the arrangement. The house is situated away from many neighbors, just like I wanted. It's secluded and a little quirky and off the beaten path, much like me. It has the large, secluded yard we all desired. Even more than that, it affords me the lifestyle I want. We will pay off the house that will someday become theirs. I can leave on travels and adventures without worrying about who will watch the house or care for my animals. I live in my property separately from them, but I should add that. I live in my property separately from them, but we still connect daily, and it allows me to feel far less isolated in my current situation. So that was how change was forced. And it's funny how once I decided I had to take action and I was just determined to take that action, things came together for me. And it was it was kind of instant how it all came together, but it was also the end result of several years. I mean, obviously, if I hadn't worked and saved and had another house and had all those other pieces in place, I wouldn't have been able to just go get a house, right?